So what we are going to learn is SLFRS 15 revenue from contracts with the customers. Now let me take a small example. Let's say guys, you guys are running a bakery. So I'm the customer here, I'm the buyer, and you guys are the sellers. So this is a bakery, you are running a bakery. In order to be a transaction between us, you are making a promise. So you are making a promise to sell a bread. You are making a promise, okay, look here, I will give you a bread. And on the other side, the buyer is making a promise. I will give you 300 rupees. That is how the transaction will happen, right? So you guys are the seller. Your promise is to give me a bread. My promise is to give you 300 rupees. If you take the buyer, right? Now we know that buyer made the promise of money and the seller made a promise of the bread. What is the right of the buyer? The buyer has an obligation, buyer has a responsibility to give that 300 rupees. Mama customer idhira order rupiyal 300 then do. That is my responsibility, that is my promise. What is my right? What is my entitlement? Receiving the bread. So I have the right to obtain the bread from you. And you are making the promise, the seller is making the promise to give the loaf of bread. Bread එක දෙන එක ඔයාගේ promise එක. That is your promise. What is your right? Receiving the 300 rupees money. So your right is to get the money. Now if you look at this 300 rupees, to one party that will be an expense. To one party that will be an expense, and the same 300 rupee will be an income to another party. Then bakery එක පාන් විකුණලා එන ආදායම් වලට අපි කියනවා sales. Right? In other words, we call it what? Revenue. Now look at the topic. Revenue. Okay, that is basically your sales income from contracts. Contracts, in other words, is transactions. If you want to learn this standard more easily, cut down all these things. SLFRS 15 is about what? Revenue. Now, if you want to learn this standard, you need to think, you need to be, you need to act like a seller. Unless you think like a seller, you can't understand the standard. So this is about revenue, no? Revenue is made by the sellers, no? Right? So seller is delivering certain promises and they are making sale. If you want to understand the standard, be the seller.